Hello everybody, my name is Star. I am your friendly neighborhood go-go dancer, and a few weeks, maybe a month or so ago, I did a video where I got 3 tattoos in the same month. Feel free to go check that video out. But in that video I mentioned how I wanted to do a full tattoo tour because I have gotten tattoos before that video, and you know, over the years I've collected a decent amount and I'd like to share with them to you and the little stories that come with them. So let's get right to the point, but first let me change into something a little bit easier to see them all. Alright, I'm back, much better. And so basically for this, I think the best way to do this is to go in order of top down. So starting off first, we're gonna go to this guy. This guy is my only arm tattoo. He is Midoriya from My Hero Academia, and he's just making this kind of dirt face. This was one of the tattoos that I got in that video from a month ago, so if you want to see more of the process and more details from that, you can check out that video. I got him from this one tattoo shop called Grey Duck Tattoo from this one artist. I will put his Instagram handle right here. Originally when I got this tattoo, it wasn't supposed to have the green in it, it was just supposed to be line work, but I asked nicely and he added the green in the hair, and honestly that's really all the color I really wanted. I have this whole lifelong plan with my tattoos of only getting color on the left half of my body and black and gray on the right half of my body. I thought this tattoo was just kind of silly, and I don't know, I really like the anime My Hero Academia. I don't really picture myself as being a person to get anime tattoos. Anime is just not really like a core part of my personality and my likes and whatnot. But because this one was really stupid and derpy, I thought that made it a good reason to get it anyways. I like how oftentimes when I'm wearing a t-shirt, you can't really see him except from like certain angles. So it's like if somebody just so happens to see it at the right time, it's like a fun little Easter egg for them. I'm sorry, I have not been staring into the camera lens this whole time. I've been staring at the record button. I don't know why I've been doing that. All right, moving on, we're gonna go to the back. So I think first we're gonna do this koi fish right here. This one was a sibling tattoo that I got with my sister. It's inspired by or just straight up the koi fish from Avatar: The Last Airbender. My sister has the other fish that is the reverse of the colors, so mine is white with black on the head and hers is black with white on the head. She has hers on her spine. I obviously have other stuff on my spine, so I couldn't get it there, so I decided to get it kind of at the same level so that they kind of look like they're swimming together if we're standing next to each other. And this tattoo was more so my sister's idea, but doesn't mean I don't love it any less. I really love it. I love how it looks. I plan on getting the same one in color on this half of my body. This was done at Minneapolis Tattoo Shop by this artist. Here's the Instagram handle. You can go check her stuff out. But I guess the other part of why we got this tattoo is that we grew up with goldfish. Some of them looking kind of patchy in different colors, black, white, orange, and whatnot. So they kind of look like koi fish. My sister remembers this, but I do not remember the specifics. It was something like the one that she got was black with little patches of white, and the one that I got was white with little patches of black, but I don't really remember any of those specifics, but I do remember keeping goldfish as a kid. I think it's ultimately a really great, you know, connection that I always have with my sister, even if she's living on the other side of the country. Let's move on to the spine. I kind of have to go a little bit out of order. I'm not gonna go top down just so that everything makes sense. Originally, I got the third butterfly from the top at a little Friday the 13th tattoo event. If you haven't been in the tattoo scene for like more than a few years, you might not know the like history of Friday the 13th tattoos, but basically on Friday the 13th, various artists would have flash sheets that each tattoo would cost $13 with a lucky $7 tip. So ultimately a $20 tattoo, which I find wild now. Most of these tattoos would take like 30-ish minutes to do. For it to be $20 for half an hour, that's like $40 an hour, which no tattoo shops charge that much. Like minimum they charge like $100 per hour. It was a great deal for anybody who's looking to get a lot of tattoos and aren't really too picky about like design and the customization of a tattoo. They just, you know, want something that looks cool, or they like what is already presented on the flash sheet. I got this one done in Dinkytown Tattoo. Do not remember the artist, my apologies. I got that tattoo, oh my god, like 8 or 9 years ago. Tattooing culture was kind of different then. Even tattooing culture was different before the pandemic, like right before the pandemic and right after the pandemic, or even during the pandemic. Friday the 13th tattoos aren't really a thing nowadays, and if they are, it's like a legitimate flash sheet that like each piece costs like $100, $200, not $20. I remember waiting in line with one of my friends from college who was really big into tattoos and body modifications and whatnot. I think we ended up waiting in line for like, I don't know, hour and a half. I kind of wish I could get a good quality tattoo like this for $20 now, but you know, the world changes, and you know, artists deserve to get paid better wages. Going next in the order of which I got all of my spine tattoo, we've got a heart, a hand, and a pen. This is from a lyric from a song by the Gaslight Anthem. At the time, I really loved the Gaslight Anthem. I still, you know, have a lot of nostalgia for the band. They are not together anymore, but I used to really love this band. They have this one song where they have a lyric that goes, "It travels from heart to limb to pen," hence why I got them in that order down my spine. This tattoo I tend to get the most compliments on during the summer. If I'm wearing like a tank top or something that's got a cutout in the back, usually people will notice, and like I tend to forget that it's back there, but I think it's a really well done tattoo. I got it in some tattoo shop in St. Paul. It was pretty small, it was just 2 people. I low-key have like a slightly embarrassing story about getting that tattoo. So I was in college and, you know, kind of strapped for money. I think in total that tattoo cost about like $500. No, I think it cost less. I think it cost maybe like $300. So basically this shop was really new. It was just 2 guys in, you know, a spot in St. Paul. Don't remember the shop name, don't remember the guy's name. And because they were so small and relatively new, they were cash only. I wish I could remember how it was like scheduled and whatnot, but I don't think I ever got like a price amount before getting the tattoo. I only got a price amount after he had done the tattoo. I either brought cash just to tip him, or I brought a certain amount of cash, but it wasn't as much as the tattoo ended up coming out to be. So I asked if it's possible to pay him now, and like in a week when I have cash, pay the rest of it. And he kind of laughed at me and said no, which I felt so embarrassed about that. He told me to go to the ATM in the grocery store across the street and pay it, and I think it had like a freaking $5 or $10 fee. I felt really embarrassed that first of all, this guy's laughing at me. Second of all, I didn't have enough money to pay for this. Third, I had to pay a service fee through this ATM. And like part of me is like, yeah, I deserve to feel embarrassed. I wasn't well prepared for this. But part of me is like, I don't know, the guy should have told me how much money to bring. He should have told me that they were cash only. And also you're laughing at like a 19-year-old and you're, I don't know, clearly in your 30s or something. But I don't know, you tell me what you think in the comments. I still love how the tattoo turned out. Even though I don't really listen to the band anymore, I still feel nostalgic about it, and I do still love the tattoo. Last part of the spine tattoo are the top 2 butterflies. So what had happened when the second guy was doing the heart, hand, and pen, he was trying to align it on my spine and realized that the butterfly initially was like slightly off-centered, and ultimately we decided on just aligning everything else directly down my spine. And then fixing the top of it later. The way that I fixed this was kind of adding the 2 butterflies kind of in a zigzag motion, so that ultimately the tattoo looks centered down my spine. I got the other 2 tattoos from St. Sabrina's in Minneapolis, which is now closed. Okay, I think we should move on down. So next up, we've got this metronome here. So this is, I think, the third tattoo I ever got. I just wanted like a music related tattoo. Honestly, this is like kind of my most meaningless tattoos. I know, considering this guy. I purposefully got this one for the sake of it being meaningless. This, like, I have no reason for getting it. I was probably like 18 or 19 at the time, and I was just like, music is my life. Let me get a freaking metronome. I've never like worked with a metronome. I got it, oh, it's called Pins and Needles in Colorado Springs. I'm from Colorado Springs. Pins and Needles is kind of the go-to tattoo shop there at the time. Again, this was like 9 years ago. I want to say this probably took, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. I remember just like, I was laying on this side and I had to have my arm like up like this. And I just remember gripping the freaking head of the seat that I was on. And then the next few days, my arm was like sore all along here because of like how much I was tensing up. The guy was like, he like sprayed me down with numbing spray just because I was being really difficult to work on because I was in so much pain. So moving on to my very first ever tattoo. So this is just a feather that says "Don't cry." I got this with my best friend. Me and her are kind of, at the time, were like an opposites attract type of situation. Hence, mine is white with black on the end, hers is black with white on the end. So this story comes from high school, and we kind of lived in the same direction. So like, we would walk home together after school, and from the high school to like the stoplight, it was just an open field, and there was a lot of dust, and it was really windy. The dust was like really kicking up, and some sand flew in my eyes, and I just started wearing contacts, so I was like, I'm gonna cry. And my friend was like, "Don't cry, because then water will come out of your body through your eyes." She said it to me with like that level of like unhingedness. I was like thinking of this idea for the tattoo in like 2012, 2013. So of course, like the imagery for tattoos was dream catchers, feathers, birds, dandelions, you know, you get the idea. Hence the feather. If I could have chosen a symbol that was like a little bit more representative of our friendship, I would. But I was 18 at the time. I forgot to mention this one, I also got at Pins and Needles. Moving on to the next one. We're gonna go with the red lily that I have on my hip here. I got this because I had a dog as a child. Her name was Lily, and I got it like shortly after she passed away. Not much like to explain behind the tattoo. She had a very fiery personality. She didn't like to listen to us a whole lot. She was Doberman, which is interesting. Usually Dobermans are very obedient. Well, no, I take that back. Dobermans are obedient only if they think you're smarter than them. Oftentimes Dobermans think that they're smarter than you, and that's when they don't listen. And that was very much my dog Lily. So I got red as kind of like a, you know, fiery personality about her. I really love this tattoo. I also got this one at Pins and Needles. I really love how this tattoo turned out. During the time, this is like 2013, 2014, line work, black and gray was like the thing. There wasn't a whole lot of color on, this was like right before like the watercolor tattoo like trend. This tattoo literally made me fall in love with color. The guy blended the colors like seamlessly. This tattoo is like 9 years old and it still looks incredible. Yeah, I love how this tattoo looks, and it really opened up my eyes to color tattoos. We're gonna move like just to the next to it. This is a little bee tattoo. It's technically a queen bee because of the little crown. This was a flash tattoo done over at Minneapolis Tattoo Shop. I believe this one was done by Sarah Louise Meyer, who runs a different shop now. Here is the Instagram tag for her. This tattoo was from a flash that they did for, I can't remember the name of the event, but it was definitely to raise money fighting sexual violence against women. and domestic abuse against women. I want to say this tattoo is like 6 years old or so. All right, moving on from next to the B is my Venus flytrap. I also got this from Sarah Louise Meyer. I originally got this tattoo because I had just finished my senior thesis, which was on Venus flytraps. And this tattoo is probably about 5 years old. I think it was probably about 5 years old. Sarah doesn't do tattoos that look like this anymore. She doesn't really do color anymore. I think it looks great. I think my only complaint, but it's not even the tattoo artist problem, part of it is in an area with a lot of movement, so obviously it didn't quite heal right. I would maybe get it touched up later, but I think overall it looks really great. I really like how she kind of blended it in with the lily above it. I just like how it fills up a decent chunk of my leg. All right, moving on to the other leg. This one was also in that tattoo video I made about a month ago. This one I got from Cece over in this tattoo shop. Can't remember her name, but anyway, here is her Instagram tag right here. This tattoo is an album cover by an artist that I love called Istasha. It's the album cover for his single Come Get Your Omega-3s. It's got this weird alien girl that's got a squid on her head. He also posted a bunch of the original zoomed out artwork for it. That's what we use as a reference. This tattoo isn't quite finished yet. If you notice, the squid is not shaded in yet. Still planning on getting that finished up. Thankfully, I am fully healed, so I can get that done whenever I feel like it. This is the biggest tattoo I have on my body. I think his art that he does for his albums is always super cool. And I just wanted a piece of his work on my body. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I can't wait to get the rest of it shaded in. Moving on down, we're gonna go with this one first. So this one is also a flash piece from Rebecca, who used to be at Minneapolis Tattoo Shop. She has moved on to a different shop, and I will put both her tag and that shop's Instagram tags right here. I've named her Barbara. This was from an October flash. She posted a bunch of little ghosts, and a couple of them had funny legs with high heels underneath it. I really fell in love with them because I work as a go-go dancer, as I've said at the beginning, but I also just love being an absolute menace on stage. I almost couldn't get this tattoo, so she posted 3 as flash. One ghost was just completely a normal ghost. The second one that I wanted was a ghost riding a broomstick with the little legs sticking out. And then the third one was this one. When I called, somebody had claimed the one riding the broomstick, which was oh well. Somebody had claimed the other one, this one, but they asked for it without the legs. Which, why would you get it without the legs? It's a completely different tattoo. It's not funny anymore. There's no sex appeal with it anymore. I was on the phone wait, what? I didn't fully comprehend it. Then she explained it again to me oh, can I still get it but with the legs? She's yeah. I'm yes, then I want it. Now I have a sexy little ghost. This was the first funny tattoo I've ever gotten. Oh my god, it's only a year old, I think. And then right next to it, we've got my little Spirited Away tattoo. This was from a flash sheet from the same person that did the koi fish tattoo. She had a bunch of little Spirited Away pieces of flash, and I liked a whole bunch of them, and I decided to claim one of them before they all got taken, and that's why I've got this one. I've always loved Spirited Away. I think it's honestly probably my favorite movie ever. I've been watching it since I was a kid. If you haven't seen Spirited Away or any of Hayao Miyazaki's movies, highly recommend seeing them. I think that is everything. I'm going to change back into what I was in originally. Wow, that was so interesting. You sure can talk a lot. Anyways, thanks for listening to me talk about the tattoos I've gotten over the span of my adult life. I plan on getting more tattoos in my life. These are just the ones that I have right now. Tell me which one is your favorite in the comments. If it's the metronome, I consider that a threat. Tell me also what tattoos you plan on getting. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!